So do you ever feel like you woke up on the wrong side of bed, like every little thing sets you off, and you just feel a lot less ready to take on the world? If so, then this video is for you because I'll be talking about specific therapy strategies that you can use to reduce emotional vulnerability and feel calmer in everyday life. For those of you who are new here, hi, my name is Parky. I'm a postdoctoral fellow in clinical psychology at Stanford University, and I've been studying and practicing evidence-based mental health for the better part of a decade. I also tend to be a pretty chill guy, so hopefully I'll have something to teach you today. So I want to start by introducing this concept of emotional vulnerability and what it actually is. I think of emotional vulnerability kind of like our baseline of how we operate throughout our world. So some of us are pretty low in emotional vulnerability where we can kind of handle all the things that come up. We're feeling pretty calm and grounded, whereas some of us sometimes feel very high in terms of emotional vulnerability where even the little stressors, little hassles of daily life can significantly influence how we feel. So imagine that you had a fight with your partner last night and then you didn't really get a good night's rest because you were thinking and ruminating about the fight, and then when you finally did fall asleep, you ended up missing your alarm and being late to work. You can imagine that all those things can really increase our emotional vulnerability and make us more susceptible to daily hassles. So we need a few tools to be able to nourish ourselves and bring down our emotional vulnerability to better take on the world. So in dialectical behavior therapy, there's something called the ABCs of emotion regulations, and I'll go through each of the letters in turn, where essentially A stands for accumulating positive emotions, where we're essentially bringing together positive emotions like joy and pleasure, kind of like assembling our own Avengers army to fight against the armies of stress and hassles. So there can be many different ways that we can accumulate positive emotions, and some of them can be as simple as drawing a hot bath for yourself, having a nice cup of tea, taking a nice walk through nature and hearing the birds sing. You can even look out into nature right now and stare at the trees for a moment, appreciate its beauty and majesty before coming back to this video. So it can really be a choose your own adventure when it comes to accumulating positive emotions and assembling your unique Avengers army of positive emotions. So the B stands for building mastery, where we're essentially developing our sense of self-efficacy and building our sense of mastery by doing things that are productive and help us feel like we're really growing, because when we feel competent in our daily life, we're much more readily able to handle the stressors near us. And again, this can also be a choose your own adventure type skill where you can just choose whatever kind of feels right for you to develop your sense of mastery. It can be making your bed, learning a new language, taking a course, whatever it might be for you. And remember, the first step to being kind of good at something is to be really bad at it, so it's okay for you to suck in the beginning. So the C in ABC stands for coping ahead, where we're essentially thinking a little bit about the future as to what could be something that could really affect me and negatively impact my ability to regulate my emotions, and how do I plan ahead to be able to cope with it. So for example, let's say I'm thinking about meeting my in-laws next week, and I know that I'm gonna have a really tough time talking to them. What could be some things I can prepare or do beforehand? Maybe I can do some deep breathing beforehand. Maybe I can plan out a bit of a script just so I know exactly how I'm going to interact with them so that we don't end up in a situation where I'm feeling really, really distressed. So besides accumulating positive emotions, building mastery, and coping ahead, there's another skill in dialectical behavior therapy known as the please skill. And this is a weird and silly acronym because you don't really know where the letters seem to come from, because it stands for treating physical illness, balanced eating, avoiding mood-altering substances, balanced sleep, and get exercise. And just like with any other skill, you don't have to do all of them and do all of them optimally, but if there's one or two that you're thinking, yeah, like I would really like to improve my sleep regularity a little bit, or eat a couple more meals every day, then that's awesome, and all of those things will help lower your emotional vulnerability and help you feel more resilient in your day. So at a very fundamental level, I think activities can be broadly broken down into one of two categories. They're either nourishing activities and they give you energy, or they're depleting activities and they lower your energy and make you more emotionally vulnerable. And there's no one size fits all when it comes to these activities. For some people, one thing can really nourish them, whereas for another person, it can really deplete them. Like with social activities, some people like extroverts, they really get a lot of energy and nourishment from interactions, whereas other people like introverts find that it actually kind of depletes their battery. So I would encourage you to really think about what are the activities that really nourish you in your daily life, and then choose your own adventure when it comes to what would be most helpful for you. And I encourage you to do something small even today to start building up that sense of emotional resilience. So for example, it can be something as small as making yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, listening to your favorite song, appreciating some flowers for a few seconds, anything that really gets the ball moving. And you can even let me know in the comments section below what you ended up deciding to do today. As always, thanks for watching, and if you did find value in this video, I encourage you to subscribe because I'll be continuing to talk more about evidence-based treatments of mental health down the road. Ciao for now.